If only I had spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I'm set to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? Oh, the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
Now, here's your host, DJ Host with the Most.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Snap Decisions. I am your late night Snap DJ. I, of course, am your host with the most, and I'm here on a Wednesday with a brand new episode and a lot of stuff going on. As we tend to say on a lot of these shows. But of course, we got a big patch that could have really reinvented the game in a way, especially for new players. So the new player experience got a big update that really, I don't think anyone really predicted or saw it coming. So it'd be interesting to hear what you guys think about it. But I mean, also, I'd love to hear from brand new players that may have just started the game about it as well. But I'm going to go over that in the spin. That was unexpected. I didn't see that coming with the patch. Also, along with that, and a new patch comes data mines. And we have our first look at the January cards, which are the dragons, and some Shang-Chi stuff thrown in, some Iron Fist stuff thrown in. So a lot of kind of like a, excuse me, a Shang-Chi season in a way. The movie, of course, the Shang-Chi movie, a lot about dragons and things like that. So kind of a Shang-Chi season. And we've got a card that was in, oh man, it's been data mined for a long time that is coming out in that set finally. So we'll go through those in the spin as well. And then we're going to be talking about some other things also in the spin. So a lot of stuff going on right at the beginning of the show in the spin today. Hey, guess what? Guys, I got myself a new iPad. Oh my God, it runs Marvel Snap. I got a 10th gen. It was a steal. It was a discontinued item in the store that I work. And I found a great price on a 10th gen iPad. It was like literally 80 some dollars. So thankfully, my wife and my youngest daughter went in and they got it for me as a Christmas gift, an early Christmas gift. So I was able to use it right away. So that is extremely cool. And now I have a working iPad that I can use for the show, which is awesome. I won't be having the crashes anymore, sadly, for those of you that enjoyed that kind of stuff. But that won't be happening anymore. But I can now go into Snap and look at Snap and stuff like that while I'm actually talking to you all, which is amazing. But let's see. Also on the agenda today, we are going to go over a new card coming out, and I titled this in the spin, could a skill card be the best card in Marvel Snap? And if you're not sure what that skill card is, it's coming out very soon in a limited time game mode that everybody should be able to get. And I said, why? I'm convinced a new non-limited game mode is coming. I mentioned this a few times. Not going to spend a ton of time on it because I did mention it a bunch, but I really do believe even more now that that's the case. On the request line today, we're going to do our weekly poll responses. I have 2 polls that got a lot of traction on X and some over on BluSky. But I'll be talking about those on the request line today. And then, of course, we have Snap Talk, what I'm playing. Of course, what I played for the week, variants that I've gotten, decks and stuff like that as well. And then we'll be going over to Comics Corner. And we'll be talking about Spider-Man NOIR. I still don't know how to say that. Noir it is. So I keep forgetting the I is kind of silent. No-R. So it is no-R. So there you go. And we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming series because Nicolas Cage, obviously, playing Spider-Man NOIR on that limited series that's coming out from Amazon. I think it's coming out pretty soon. So that we'll discuss that a little bit. And then we'll go over to, of course, my comics of the week. We'll talk about what I'm reading. And I just got done reading some amazing books. So it was a really good week in comics in the Marvel app. And then we'll head on over to the MCU Minute. And I'm going to warn you, again, spoilers. Possible spoilers. Some images have leaked about Doomsday. Maybe from the trailer. I don't think I believe it, though, to be honest. I don't think I believe it. I kind of think it's AI stuff. But in any case, there is a description, though, of what the trailer is going to be. Now, that could be true. So, again, if you don't want to be spoiled, avoid it at your own risk. And you could skip that section and then go to the end. And I'm going to have an all-new lyric challenge, because some people did say that they enjoyed it and stuff like that after last week, so I appreciate that. But it's going to be, I got an idea from a listener, it's going to be superhero-related songs. So these songs that I'm going to do the lyrics for could have been heard in a superhero film, could be about a superhero. Maybe you kind of didn't know that it was. You know, that might have been a song that was done in like the 60s or 70s and no one really knew that it was necessarily about a superhero. So we're going to do stuff like that on the lyric challenge going forward. So that is the agenda for today's show. And I'm going to start off by saying that I am, because I know I finished the pod with this sometimes, but I am a part of the Snap decision, of the Snap judgments. Horrible. Just horrible. Oh, God. Network of podcasts, which include, of course, Snap Judgments, Glazer and Roy, and their special guests that they have on that pod, talking about the meta, talking about decks, talking about all that good stuff, just like Glazer does every single day on his channel. So check that out. That's usually out every Friday or Saturday, I believe. And then, of course, Snap on This with Lauren Whatevs, Ben Roller, and It's Just Re. They have a podcast that comes out every single Friday, which is a heck of a lot of fun. They just did a musical inspired thing as well on their last show. It was a challenge, a homework challenge by Ree, who wanted them to pick songs that corresponded or reminded them of this month's cards, which I thought was very cool. So make sure you check them out. Excellent pod, very, very good time. Go check them out as well. All right. So let's get into the spin. And the first thing we're going to do, as we do a lot of the times with the patch notes, we're going to read the patch notes from the other day. So that, again, now this was pretty unexpected. I know to me, I didn't see this coming, but this was it was kind of a big one. So the features new player experience updates. This patch, we're releasing a host of improvements for new players coming to Snap. For starters, new players will see improvements to bots and locations to help smooth out their early experience. Additionally, they'll see a special 28-day login calendar full of rewards to help them on their journey, including snap packs, variants, currencies, cosmetics, and pre-built decks. Pre-built decks. How long have some people been asking for pre-built decks? And we never had them until now. And it's going to be in the new player experience, so that's kind of cool. Pre-built decks are a new reward type in Snap that contain 12 cards, some of which the player may already have, that form a deck of a particular play style. For new players especially, these help form a better foundation while beginning their journey in Snap. On day 28, new players can earn a Thanos-themed deck containing the Mad Titan himself. For existing players who may not have Thanos yet, there will be a Thanos variant, which comes with the base card as part of the rewards in next season's Grand Arena event. Yeah, there apparently is going to be a Thanos. There may be a Thanos deck in there because they also have a Thanos Datamined, a Thanos champion for that. So that's kind of neat. So we might be getting some sort of Thanos deck in there when the Grand Arena comes back around. The pre-built decks are Ultron Zoo, which you get on day 2, which is pretty much what it says. It's kind of, you've seen it. It's the Ultron Patriot stuff, but along with like a zoo flavor. I've seen some people playing this, even on ladder now. So that's day 2. On day 5, they get a Black Panther on reveal deck, which is, Black Panther. The only thing is no Wong in there, which is kind of weird. You would think that Wong would have been in that deck. It's kind of a staple there, but yeah, no Wong in the deck. And then they have on day 10 a Mystique ongoing deck. So kind of like the ongoing decks, without the really, really high power cards that obviously the Series 5 and Series 4 has right now. But it's just a kind of a standard ongoing list. And then on day 28, they get the Thanos deck. So, kind of cool, right? I mean, Thanos still being played today. I see it a lot, whether it's on ladder and conquest and stuff. People still like it. And so now newer players are going to be able to play Thanos deck by day 28. So that's kind of cool. So all in all, look, I didn't see it coming. We didn't hear, we don't have any roadmaps or anything like that. So we don't really know what's coming down the road. So these things come off as being surprises. And I think this one certainly was. Now I've talked about this both on this show and on other shows I've been on, the new player experience. My God, I've talked about it with so many of my guests, as a pain point over the years. So this is something that really did need to be done. It needed to be taken care of for sure. And, I think this is a good start. And the fact that they're also going to get other things and everything along the way. So I think this is good. I think this is, I can't see anything wrong with it. This might even inspire some people. And I know I did this in the past. Like I went and I started a different account and I started over. And I know there has been a lot of other players that I know that did the same thing, and just to kind of see. And now you may see that even a little bit more, right? Like if players are getting a little frustrated with the ladder and with where they're at overall, like because you really can't do anything about your collection level or that MMR rank that you have. I think it's called that anyway. You can't really do anything about that. It's kind of set where it is, and you're not really going to do anything about it. But if you do decide, I'm just frustrated. I kind of want to just start over. I want to just see what this new experience is like and everything like that. I think there may be more players that are playing now that are kind of just stuck in a grind that may just want to do that. They may just want to start a new account and just kind of start over, And with this in mind, it might not be a bad idea. You might get through it a lot faster. You get to play Thanos by the end of the first month. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not And this is kind of something that I would like to see some of the creators out there do, because I think it would be cool for those that play the game online. Now, I know they're not gonna do it instead of, playing games on ladder and all that kind of stuff. They're not gonna do that. Obviously, if they're infinite climbing, but maybe some of them, by week 2 or 3, if there's no limited time game mode going on, or just like we just got the Sanctum, but it was just for all cosmetics. Maybe that could be something that some of these content creators will revisit, and they'll do that. Maybe maybe they'll start over, and they'll say, okay, here, check this out. I'm going to start over in Marvel Snap with a new account. You can still have your other accounts. You could always just make another one, and they could start over, and they could kind of guide a new player on how to go about doing all this and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. I think that would be a cool watch for some new players to the game. I mean, that's how, and I'm sure a lot of you have done the same thing, but that's how I was kind of figuring out how to play and learning the game a little bit. I was watching guys like Binks from the start, Regis Kilbin, people like that have been doing this for a while for Marvel Snap. I've been watching them since the very beginning, and it's helped me along. So why not? I think that would be a pretty fun thing to do. So I think this is good. I think it's cool. Now I think that they it looks like they have added to the new player experience. So now I think next they got to do something for returning players that have left the game, which a lot of people did over the past several months. What are you going to do for them to entice them to come back to the game? What are you going to do for them? That, I think, is another pain point. We had the new player experience, and now we have a returning player experience that I think needs to be addressed as well. But look, I think this is good for a number of reasons. I think it's good because you want to continually look. Your game is not going to go anywhere. It's going to stagnate if you don't have new players coming in. And if the new players are playing for a little bit, they come in, they play for about a week or so, and then they're just like, I'm not. They start playing on ladder, and then they start getting beat a lot, right? And they're like, nah, this isn't fun. Well, if they kind of solve that a little bit, then they will stick around longer. And so I think that in a way, in that way, I think that this is a good step in the right direction. And who knows? We're just getting close to the end of the year. Maybe they're, the devs looking at this game are starting to probably realize, hey, it's 3 years old, and we want this to continue, and that's a good sign too. You kind of know when you have a game that's dying, because you don't see many updates, you don't see much interaction, you don't see, you just kind of see the same thing over and over and over again until the thing finally goes away. So it's good to know that they're doing this for the new players and stuff like that. But I think this is good news overall, and I think it'll go over well with new players. The rest of it's just some bug fixes. Let's see if there's any big ones in here. Loading spinner VFX issue with RSM doesn't occur. Yeah, just a lot of visual things. Card shop fix. Attempting to purchase season pass with a different device already after purchasing on the same account result in updated messages that communicates the season pass was already purchased, and then we'll update the device. Premium mystery borders and the bundles no longer clip. Yeah, and this is just all like visual effects, PC fixes, and all that kind of stuff. So generally, it was just the new player experience thing that they changed with this, and so. But again, it's something that was a long time coming, and I think needed to be done. So All right. Let's move on here, because that was really all that was in the patch notes. But let's move on to something that comes with every patch. And I've seen a lot of creators doing videos on them today. But that is new cards. January data mines. So let's go over some of these real quickly. I'm not going to rank them. I'm just going to read them. And ranking will come when we get to the end of December. But we are getting one of the longest data mine cards that has not come to fruition until this particular set. And that is Fin Fang Foom. So we got another 7 card, guys. He's a 7 cost, 12 power. On reveal, gain the power of front row enemy cards here. So you're gaining the power of enemy cards that are in the front row of your opponent. So, I mean, imagine that, imagine they're playing an Invisible Woman or something in a end of turn deck. You're getting 5 from her. And let's say there's Joe Costa or something. You're getting an additional 9 power or 8 power. Now, you are going to have to play a deck that's going to be able to get him out. So you're going to have to play something like a Luna Snow. You're going to have to play maybe a Wiccan deck with him in there. That's how you're going to get him. But he's just a big boy. And, big boys work well. There's Surturlists that are going around that have Luna. So, he'd be a pretty big dude in most cases, unless you're playing like Zoo. Then he's going to be quite small. But yeah. So I love this guy. I loved him in comics. The Fable, the Huge Dragon, finally gets his card. So that's pretty cool. He's been data mined for a long, long time. So, of course, he's going to be in this because it is a dragon season. The next one up is an Iron Fist card, another version of Iron Fist. It's Lin Lee, Iron Fist, a 2/2. On reveal, add the Sword of Fuzi. I think it's Fuzi, or Fuzai, to another location. And the sword is a 2/2. Ongoing, if Lin Lee Iron Fist is here, he has +7 power. So you put the sword down, and if Lin Lee is on the same lane as the sword of Fuzi, or Fuzai, then Lin Lee becomes a 2/9. That's pretty awesome. A 2/9? Plus you got the sword is still there at a 2/2. 2/9 is a hell of a stat line, and it doesn't really seem like much to play it. So yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Now let's see here. Now hold on. On reveal, add the Sword of Fuzai to another location. Okay. So when Lin Lee comes out, he's going to add the sword to another location. Now, ongoing, if Lin Lee Iron Fist... so you'd have to move Lin Lee to the sword. Oh, this is a move card. Because you're going to have to move him to the sword, and then he gets to be a 2/9. So you're going to have to move him somehow. So you'd have to play him in a move deck. So this is yet another move card that you're going to have to play with Madam Web, or you're going to have to play with Spider Girl, something along those lines, in order to get him that bonus. So, I don't know. That said, Iron Fist himself is a move card. You obviously could play him with Iron Fist, the other Iron Fist, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, move him once. Now does that... He has to be in the same lane with the sword to get the 7 power. So, yeah, so you'd have to be in the same lane with the sword. I was just looking to see if it could be like exploited where we do it more than once, but it doesn't. It won't keep adding. It just looks like it's going to be just a permanent 2/9. But he has to be in the lane with the sword. So I don't know. Next one is Xiao Lao, the Undying. Of course, I think this is the big dragon that was in Shang-Chi, the movie. He's a 5/10. On reveal, give the last character you played +2 power for each turn you played 2 or more cards. Give the last character you played +2 power for each turn you played 2 or more cards. So you'd want to probably play him with Athena, because you're going to be doing that. You're going to be playing 2 cards, with Athena, you want to play 2 cards per turn. Interesting. This one's a little puzzling to me, because he's never going to go up from the 5/10, but it's going to buff the last character you played +2 power for each turn you played 2 or more cards. So, 2 or more. 2 or more. Never mind. Not just 2. 2 or more. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's going to buff another card. The last character you played is going to get +2 for each turn you played 2 or more cards. So, okay. I mean, there's a little bit of math involved here that you're going to have to do. And as evidence to the fact that Spider-Man NOIR isn't seeing much play, and some of the play that he's seeing is aggravating people. I don't know if people like math mixed with their snap. Lauren Whatevs probably does. I'm sure she does. But a lot of people may not like having to do that stuff in their head. So I don't know if they're going to like this guy, but we'll see. The next one is Dragon of the Moon. Wow, the artwork on this card is stellar. Stellar. Like this looks like something that could be in a Dungeons and Dragons box set from like the 70s and 80s. Like on the cover. Like this is just sick artwork. 3/2 on reveal, steal 1 power from even costed cards in all hands. Wow, if they're playing with even costed cards, and to steal 1 power from each one of those in everyone's hands, this could be a pretty big 3 cost. I mean, a lot of people like to play with, even cost cards. Obviously it's going to depend on what the meta is going to shake out to be when he comes out. But it's an interesting card. And you could set it up better by yourself by playing, more even costed cards in the deck. So yeah, interesting. I mean, could this be... just like thinking out loud, a Cerebro card? I don't know. I'm sure people will come up with some good ideas for this one. Then we have Lockheed. Lockheed is in it, of course. He's a 2/1. End of turn. If you played a 1-cost card this turn, afflict an enemy card here with -2 power. It's going to be a cool effect, I bet you. Because on his card, they have him shooting that little tiny bolt of flame out that he shoots. So he's probably going to do that. So this would be a good card for a toxic list. But you'd have to play a lot of 1-cost cards. So, he would go with Clea, which would also do affliction stuff. I'm trying to think in the toxic lists. Yeah, they don't have. The problem is, toxic lists don't have a lot of 1s. So I don't know. This could be just a zoo card that you just want to play with a lot of 1s. And like I said, you could combine it with Clea. Clea could be one of the 1s that you have in the deck. Which could function as another afflict card. But yeah, this will be interesting. What I'm seeing here is a lot of cards that players might have to kind of think about a little more as to how to use. or what to use them in. And that's kind of cool, though. Makes for interesting decks. You don't want to see the same thing? Then we're getting a skill. This is 1-cost skill, Majestic Wing Beat. And this is on reveal. Give the leftmost card in your hand +2 power. If it's 5 cost or higher, -1 cost 2. Okay. So the Agatha Hella list, because Agatha would always be the leftmost card in your hand, which she would then get +2 power. And now she's not a 5 cost, obviously. Well, no, she is 5 cost or higher. Would get -1 cost. So it's a way to buff Agatha in that deck. I'm trying to think of, how about a discard deck? Leftmost card in your hand +2. Yeah, it has to be a 5 cost or higher. So it would have to be like Khonshu or Modok or Apocalypse. I guess it could. I guess it could work in that. It is an on reveal. So that's pretty interesting. And then, of course, the Season Pass is going to have, it looks like Xiao Lao the Undying is going to be your Season Pass card. There are variants for Sauron, which looks really cool. Stegron. And then your card backs look like it is... it looks like it's Lockheed, or the card backs, along with, I guess that's Xiao Lao. Pretty cool looking card backs. And then Dragon of the Moon. So Dragon of the Moon must be the premium season pass card. So, yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to this set, actually, I think more than I am the Weapon X. Because I've told you guys plenty of times that I'm not a Destroy fan. And I think we're going to see Destroy on the rise again. Due to the Destroy cards we're going to get from next season. So I don't know. But yeah. So, all right. Let's see what else we've got here. Is there anything else I wanted to discuss in the spin? I do believe so. Yes. Could a skill card be the best card in the game? And why I'm convinced a new non-limited game mode is coming. Well, the game mode one is fairly easy. And I know I've mentioned this before. But I still am under the impression, with all of these skill cards we're getting, in the future, and all of these and the 10 cards we're getting per month, and some of them being like the Series 4 / that kind of cards like the also rans, like almost even like Spider-Man NOIR. Notice I'm getting better now. Kind of like him in a way, because he's kind of a card that there's not necessarily a deck or deck type for him. So what that tells me is, again, they're making more cards that are not necessarily something that is gonna encompass like one deck type. But yet it could, if you are, let's say, playing a draft mode, you may not be so sad about getting. Because first of all, it would take your opponent by surprise, and secondly, you can make a card like Spider-Man NOIR work in random decks. So, and it could just win you the game. So I do believe that we are getting a draft mode. I don't know when. I don't know exactly the hows behind it or any of that. But I do believe with this increase of cards that it's not just, a random thing. I think that there is a method to the madness, and I think that we are going to see at some point, I'll just say this. My prediction is we're going to see a draft mode at some point by the end of next year. That's what I'm saying. I think we're going to see, look, the devs know, okay? there have been people asking about, in fact, I saw a question to Glenn. One of the questions that he answered was, because people were talking about how bad Conquest is, and how, a new game mode is needed. Now, they have for the longest time been saying that there's no plans except for the limited time game modes. But I'm telling you, I just think that with all the setup we have, with all these new cards, and some of the cards aren't that great, I do believe that, you have to have some generic cards in order to play draft mode, because they have to fit in with random decks. And so if they're a little generic and they don't see a lot of play necessarily, that's not a bad thing for draft mode. That's how draft mode always was. You would see people playing draft mode with the most generic card. Like, I remember the one draft mode I won in Magic the Gathering. I made an all black vampire deck when the first set came out. They started having a lot more vampires in it, and all of the vampires that I had Death Touch, life. Was it Lifesteal? Lifesteal, I think, where they would steal life points from your opponent and give them to yourself. And I won the tournament because of that. I made up pretty much an almost all black deck again. I had a few cards in there that were artifacts and stuff like that. I think I went black-red a little bit because I had a little bit of smattering of direct damage in it, if you've ever played Magic. And I won the tournament. And this was after not playing for a while. I came back in, I got some of these new cards that came out, and I ended up winning the tournament. But simply because I was playing with some cards that people just didn't expect. They were commons. They were a card that not a lot of people saw a lot of excitement in. But for me, I'd always played black, so when I saw it, I'm like, all right, one of my favorite cards in Magic was a card called the Hypnotic Spectre. And what a Hypnotic Spectre would do is when it damaged your opponent, well, first of all, it had flight. So flight was always harder to block unless your opponent had creatures that could block flying. And when it would damage my opponent, they would have to discard a random card from their hand. So it's a very powerful card. And so when I saw these vampires, I'm like, ooh, this is kind of cool. They're cheap. They only cost 1 black and 1. And I can get these out fast. So I remember putting 4 of them. I ended up getting 4 of them in my deck. Nobody else chose them because they were common cards. And everybody was reaching for all the rares and all the big cards. And I ended up winning that tournament because of those cards. So that's where I believe it's headed. I really do believe we're headed in that direction. I don't know when, but I do feel that it's coming sooner than later. So, all right, now, this new skill card that I'm talking about is one of the upcoming releases in this month. And it's coming this week, actually. So it is coming this week. And it is it's coming out, November the 20th. Yeah, so tomorrow. It is called Deafening Chord. It is a 1-cost skill. I did rank this as number 1 on my list for this month. On reveal, afflict an enemy character here that costs 3 or less with -1 power and remove its text. So this is a 1-cost red guardian that can shut down any card that costs 3 or less. Hello, Human Torch. This is your move counter, folks. Sick of getting beaten up by Human Torch? Strum a deafening chord on your guitar and you too could get rid of a pesky Human Torch. This is a very strong card. Very strong card. So much so that when I was listening to the rankings on Snap on this, Ben Roller said he hated this card. And I can certainly see why. This can shut down so many things. 3 or less, remember. There's a lot of good cards that are 3 or less. How about an Invisible Woman? First Steps. yeah, you can kind of just shut down the whole end of turn business. End of game business there. Stuff in Silver Surfer. Obviously, they don't play the Surfer usually till the end of the game, but what about that Sebastian Shaw that might be bugging you? There are a lot of powerful 3s in this game. Powerful 2s as well. And even powerful 1s. So this is going to be a great card. And everybody that is a player of this game can stick this in their deck. Everyone. This is a tech card that can be used for just about anything. And it just shuts it down. I believe that you're going to see almost everyone that plays this game playing with this card. It's very easy to get into a deck. There is really no I can't see a downside to this. What's the downside? The cost is only 1. It's taking up a space in your deck, yes, but how many people played with Red Guardian forever? So who cares if it takes up a slot in your deck at 1 cost? I'm telling you, if you don't believe that this is one of the best cards in the game, wait till this card is out and wait till you see how many players are going to have this in their decks. Because it's just a very, very, very powerful tech card. For its cost, this is something that they might even nerf somewhere along the way. Where they might make it cost 2 or something like that. At 1 cost, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. It's a better Red Guardian. It just is. It doesn't hit it with as much power damage, but I think that's negated by the fact that its cost is 1. You like I said, you could shut down archetypes with this card. So, yeah, I believe that when this comes out, and it's coming tomorrow, I don't know exactly what game modes you're going to get it in. I can't remember what game mode it is. But I'm telling you, this is easily, I think, to me, the best card of the month. Easily the best card of the month. Look back at this. Spider-Punk, kind of cool in the right deck, but I don't see him a ton. Man-Spider, I think, was the biggest one and the one you could get the biggest results with, but still not overly consistent. Ezekiel Sims, kind of fun in certain decks. Superior Spider-Man, I don't think is great. Spider-Man NOIR, not so good so far. Chameleon, people were messing around with a little bit, but again, I don't think there's anything great about him. Web Sling, I haven't really seen many people at all using this, except Safety Blade. And then, of course, we're going to get Prowler, which some people think will be the best card of the month. And then we still have yet to get Hydro Man as well. But, unless Prowler really wows people, and again, remember, Prowler is a card in itself that can be cut down by Deafening Chord. So, to me, I'm telling you, when people look back on this month, I think they're going to just think Deafening Chord. It is the most powerful card, I think, that's coming out of this month. It could be one of the most powerful cards that we've had in a long time. All right. I think we are done with the spin. I think I talked about everything I wanted to. Yep, we got a little bit of the new cards in. We talked about, okay. All right, so we're going to move along to the request line. I need to get a ringing noise, like an old school ringing noise that I can play in there. We're going to get to the request line. Well, first, if you guys didn't know, or if you're not on X or anything like that, if you don't get on the website or anything, you can get a free, because they just came out with a Deadpool VR game, I think on the Meta Quest. So because of that, Snap is giving away some Deadpool stuff. So you can now claim the new Deadpool flag emote, David Nakayama variant, and more by going to the shop at Marvel, the Marvel Snap shop, and by typing in the redeem code Deadpool VR, so all one word, and caps, Deadpool VR, and you could get that variant. I got it, and then you get some borders, I think, as well, so kind of cool. A little bit of a collaboration there. This post I shared, this is more of the cards that are coming. Oh, okay. In January. We have another skill called Brand of Shaolao. This is a 1 cost on reveal. One of your other cards here steals 2 power from the character that costs the most in your opponent's hand. Okay. All right. It's not a bad little card. I'm telling you guys, they're making some really good skill cards. Why do you think that would be? There's another Shang-Chi coming as well in January. And this is Shang-Chi Master of the Rings. So the 3/4, and it says game start. The 10 rings start in your hand. On reveal, unlock their potential. All right, so this is cool. So, and look, I asked a question of what people would want to see in this game. And I think one of them mentioned the 10 rings. Well, look, lo and behold, we're getting them. Then it shows the 10 rings as a test card. No art, and it's a 2/0, so obviously no skills yet. But it's just saying there, end of turn, give one of your other cost cards here +1 power. So they're probably each going to do something. So that's really fun. And then there's another one called the 10 Rings Upgraded. That's a 2/1, end of turn, give your other cards here +1. So they're all going to do something. Whether it's end of turn abilities or something like that. So that's really cool. Another skill card, guys. 3 skill cards in January. 3. What do skill cards do? They're generic cards that resemble Magic the Gathering's instance that can just be played in almost any deck you want. I'm telling you. And this one's called Dragon Breath. It's a 4-cost card on reveal. Give a 5-cost or higher character in your hand +3 power. Afflict an enemy card at each location with -2 power. Oh man, I'm telling you, these skill cards are just getting better. They're just getting better. And those are, like I said, they can be popped into almost any deck. You're going to see players that are going to end up with a deck full or like half full even maybe of skill cards. Obviously, a Merlin would probably be in there with it, but I'm telling you, you're gonna see it, and it seems like a lot of these are affliction cards too. Then we have Dragon Lord. He's a 5/5. On reveal, put a card from your hand here. Wow. Okay. Stat lines kind of sucks, but you're pulling a card out, right? And then lastly, we have Dragon Man. He's a 4/6. End of turn, +1 power for each location that's full on your side. Wow, so it's an end of turn card. So there's something that you can add into the end of turn deck. And that can just keep getting that. Yeah, that's end of turn card. So something that can certainly be triggered by Invisible Woman and Jocasta, that he can keep doing that over and over and over again if you fill up your sides. And many times that end of turn deck wants to kind of do that, at least fill up a couple sides, because you're going to fill up the side that has Invisible Woman with Jocasta and others. And then you're going to have that other lane where you might have the Havoc and you might have the Athena or you might have the Sunspot. So that's a deck that kind of does like to do that. So this could definitely be a card that you're going to probably stick right in that deck. So, all right, well, there you go. There's some others that were shown, and that should be, I think that's all of them. So we'll revisit them when we have to rank them, and then maybe we'll see more in the next patch about the 10 rings, which is fun. But all right, we're going to get to some of these polls that I put out there. And, You know what? I want to read this first too. And I know I'm sorry, but yeah, this is going to. I always say try to keep it down to a certain. This one's going to go a little long. This was a question posed to Glenn. Now I've been talking about bots and all that kind of stuff, but this is a question posed to Glenn. Do bots know the meta decks? And this person wrote, I have had a very frustrating time climbing to infinite rank, though I have been able to do so consistently for years now. Pretty sure I've gone up against some savage bots who play pretty ruthlessly using the latest tech. My gameplay decisions are informed by my knowledge of the meta and the range of the deck I'm playing against. My question is, do bots know what deck I might be playing and what the common play patterns are? My knowledge is obviously limited and fallible, but their knowledge could be perfect if they have access to second dinner game data. Wow, that sounds like a person who may have listened to my podcast. I kind of asked the same thing. This is the response from Glenn. He says, bot decks are generated automatically from the metagame, and they learn to play their decks over time. They don't use actual games being played on live or any matchup data to do this. They teach themselves. The bots, like a human, plan turns based on how both decks might play. So they plan turns based on how both decks might play. For example, if you're playing Mr. Negative and snap on the next turn, a bot will have an elevated retreat frequency just like a person. But it can't see you stage to Mr. Negative. It sees your plays when a human would. Okay, so that clears that up. So they can't see our cards before we put them out. And that's one of the things that I was afraid of. So he said no, that they don't do that. However, we do modify their behaviors. For example, bots retreat less often than humans because we've essentially modified them to be in a situation where you might retreat, stay plus N% of the time. That's a simplification. So I wonder if that means we've essentially modified them to be in a situation where you might retreat, So that would be meaning you, the player, might retreat. Stay plus N% of the time. So they're staying to see if you would retreat. And it said that's a simplification, but means bots should be retreating against Mr. Negative less often than humans in the above example. We similarly warp their decks. They don't build decks themselves, so without guidance, they just pick the same version of each deck every time. We force them to diversify builds to provide a variety and different strengths, weaknesses in the pool. So there you go. That is a thing about bots from Glenn himself. So make of you what you will with that, but I got some interesting responses on this one. And this one comes from Battle Angel Tim on Twitter, on X rather. What about the cheater bots? There's no way in hell these cards should work together, but it's in this deck and it's not Arshem. But they knew where to put it to win. I mean, according to what Glenn just said, they don't, I don't know, man. Listen, I'm right there with you. I've hit situations like that too. And so, like I said, it's nice that I have company and I can see other people doing the same thing. I wrote back, I've had it happen also. Cards that don't make any sense in the deck that's in. Inevitable says, who is non-toxic on X, they always pretend there isn't a cheating bot in the game, LOL. I wrote back, from the start, they said they don't talk about bots. As of late, they've had so many questions about them that they can't really ignore it. This one is Deuces Tyreek on X. They won't admit it, but they rogged their draws. Every bot I play draws their best play every single game. I played a bot 2 games out of 3, and he had a destroy deck. Hit Null the first game, and then Shuri, Nimrod, Zola the second game. It's Jack Green on X says, this perfectly explains why the bots are harder now. Step 1, stay in matches that look bad. Step 2, have unexpected but still good cards. Yeah, yep, I agree. I mean, that explanation does kind of say it all. It does explain why the bots are harder. Meow, meow, meow. Team Mad Cow says, why bother? Make the bots dumb. Focus on fixing bugs. Yeah, I've often said that they need to spend one patch just fixing bugs in the game. Because there's more now. Some of my cards are just going like glowing pink for no reason. They just glow pink. Like in my collection, all of a sudden I'll see this big glob of pink glow. Yeah, I told you I would not be against that. If they said they had to, that they're doing a major game update, I am all for it. Okay. So this next one I put down, we're getting a Weapon X season and a Dragon season. What season or seasons would you like to see coming in 2026? Also tell me your ideas for one or two cards from the season you choose. All comments will be used on the pod. First comment here is from Lauren Whatevs. Now this is a popular one. A lot of different people asked for this. Runaways. Molly, Gert, Carolina, all of them please. A-Force, or anything that gets Singularity in. A solid spooky season. Hallows Eve plus some more classic monsters. I'm not picky. Elsa, Nico, Werewolf, Man-Thing, Black Knight season ruled. Yeah, 100% I'm behind that. 100%. I think I talked about it on an episode here. And Lauren's idea, when she was on my my show, we talked about that because that was during the Halloween time. And yeah, for 100%. Now, I don't know. I have to look this up. I don't know if Marvel still has access to the Universal monsters anymore. Because I know the licenses have changed. So I know they used to have a comic book called The Mummy. And they used to have, obviously, Werewolf by Night, which, of course, they still have the rights to that. And then they had a Dracula one. And then they had a Frankenstein. But I can't remember what the Frankenstein was called. As long as they're called different things. You know what? While I have you on with me here on the pod, let's do a comic reference. So let's look up Mummy Marvel Comics. Let's look and see what the title is. Okay, so see, now I do believe they would have the rights to this because it's called The Living Mummy. The Living Mummy. So I think that they would be able to do this because, again, this is from their titles that they were calling supernatural thrillers. So I believe they'd be able to use this because it's not The Mummy. It's The Living Mummy. So it's one word, but that can be enough for them to be able to use it. So I think we could probably see that. Now, obviously, it's also going to depend on whether or not Marvel Snap can use the rights. Now, Dracula, I mean, he's already in the game, right? So they would just, for him, they would put, it would be a variant. It'd be a Dracula variant if they were going to use him again. But how about, what was the other one? Frankenstein. So Marvel, I know they had a Frankenstein book. Yeah. So this one's called The Monster of Frankenstein. The Monster Frankenstein or the Frankenstein. Okay. The Frankenstein Monster. Oh, man. Look at this. There was a comic that Frankenstein meets Dracula. There was a team up with the Frankenstein Monster and Spider-Man. I think I had that book. In fact, I'm sure I did. Yep. I had that book. But yeah, that I would love to see them use these. Now, again, I don't know what the rights would be for Snap. But yeah, look, I agree wholeheartedly. And the Runaways, huge, a big title with so many people, that yeah, I think I've had more than one person give me a response for that. Reviews from the tub. Says, when the next season of Daredevil comes out, I'd like to see a whole Nelson and Murdoch set. Give them powers like Daredevil, play Foggy, see your opponent's turn 3, play Ms. Page, see turn 4, Daredevil stays turn 5. Have all 3 on the board, and you can see the opponent's turn 6. That's kind of a cool idea, isn't it? Like 3 of them, you can see their final turn. That's pretty badass. I do think that they're going to come out with a Daredevil season. I do. It's long overdue. We've got 2 Daredevil things coming out next year. We've got Daredevil Born Again coming out, and we've got the Punisher series as well. It's a spin-off of that. So what better time than to do it? And I think it's definitely coming. White on Twitter says, I really like the witches from the Coven of Agatha season. Prophet, Witch, Lilia Cardrew, Guardian Witch, Alice Wu Gulliver, Goddess of Death Rio, the Salem 7 Witches, and Potion Witch Jennifer Kale. They all appear in Agatha series. I love the Agatha series. I really do. That's one of the best, I think, Marvel series that we've gotten in a while. I really enjoyed that. Probably more than I thought I would. But I'm down. I'd love to see all those cards made. That'd be amazing. Adam says Hulk's season. Doc Samson, Amadeus Cho, Hulk from Old Man Logan. Oh my gosh, you could do Commandy. You could do the future Hulk. I forget his name. The really old one with the long gray hair. Oh my gosh, yeah. There's so many things you could do with a Hulk season. Rick Jones. You could do a Rick Jones card. You could do a Betty Ross card. Oh man, for sure. See, these old heroes, right? This is some of the things I don't understand that they don't revisit. You know, like Iron Man. Like Iron Man's one of their most popular, and I think people mentioned him too. One of their most popular heroes. The same thing with Hulk. And they haven't yet had a season that goes with them. Which, why the hell not? You have so many cards. They have so much history. These cards have so much history that they have so many villains and so many, Iron Man can have a ton. Hulk, Cap, all of them can be revisited as a season. So, yeah, I would love a Hulk. They could have a variant for that horror comic Hulk that I read now. Oh, man. I think that'd be great. That's an amazing idea. Armor Wars as well, for sure. Adam also suggested Armor Wars, Crimson Dynamo, Ironmonger, a new Tony, Extremis Iron Man, etc. Yeah, look, we have the Extremis Iron Man variant, which is Iron Man's ultimate variant. But yeah, like where are all these characters? Crimson Dynamo, huge Iron Man villain. Ironmonger, he's been in the films. And a new Iron Man. Man, dude, there's so much you could do. Pepper Potts can have a card. Again, these are just huge properties that they really haven't done much with except for the base cards. Full Communism, Radioactive Man, Dark Star, Ursa Major. That'd be fun. And then for February, how about Red? Oh God, what's his name? The Russian Iron Man, Crimson Dynamo. Oh yeah, I'll mention that in Armor Wars. Okay, yeah, that's right. And then for February, though, I think you should maybe do a power couple season. Oh, that would be fun too. Yeah, Valentine's Day. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All great ideas. Love it. I wrote Armor Wars is definitely needed. Surprised Iron Man hasn't gotten a season yet. Jeremiah says we need an X-Men 97 season already. X-Men 97 season 2 is coming. I don't know if they'll do a season, but they did do all those cool variants that we got from the animated series, so they might continue to do that. But I wouldn't be opposed to an actual animated season either. I think that'd be fun. Kyle Free says Krakoan rebirthed tons of new mutants, including Araco ones. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Sammy said Runaways. Nico being the only Runaway is criminal, especially since the success of the Runaways encouraged Marvel to proceed with Young Avengers, etc. Yeah, very true. And Lauren responded after Sammy did. Runaways is absolutely huge. A lot of people want to see a Runaways series, and that'd be amazing. It's something new. something that hasn't been done. And like Sammy mentions, with Nico being the only one so far, definitely an opportunity there. Calvin Rankin says a couple/duo season for February, mostly to get that Gambit and Rogue Datamined card. Oh, yeah, that's... wasn't it the one that we didn't get the reward? That was a Gambit thing that we didn't end up getting qualifying, because that was when they were doing the... You got to do the massive thing and play with those cards for a long time to get it. That was from there, I think, yeah? Joshua Snyder says, I want an A-Force season. Let's go. I'm down with that. Jermaine McBound says, stop giving us dud cards like Chameleon. Maria. Hello, Maria. A runaway season could be Maria mentioned it too. Runaway season could be very good addition. The other members of that group are very interesting to me, and I'll be very happy if this comes true someday. Have a nice day. Maria's always very positive. You too. John Elliott, free Madagascar. I'd like a Deep Space Adventure one with characters like Quasar, OG Captain Marvel, or the Kree Shi'ar War even. Also, an Inhuman season would be great. Day one, Karnak buyer here. Yeah, what about the Inhumans? I mean, we have some of them, right? We have Black Bolt, we have Medusa, but there are some that we do not have. Karnak, they're there's a good amount. We have Lockjaw, obviously, too. But yeah, there are a lot of Inhumans. Karnak being one of them, yeah. Jerome, X-Force or Mojoverse. We are really lacking mainstays like Longshot, Shatterstar, Richter, Boom Boom, and the like in the game right now. Agreed. Yes, love it. White says, in the X-Men, only Esme of the 5-in-1 Stepford Cuckoos has appeared so far, while her sisters Celeste, Sophie, Phoebe, and Mindy are also highly anticipated to make their debut. And then I got one more. This is from Mark830711 on X saying, Wakanda season and what if season. Now, the what if became like zombie stuff. We've had some of the what if characters, obviously Strange Supreme and others. What if cards would you still like to see? I mean, I'd like to maybe see a what if Uatu, because Uatu is kind of at the center of it all. And to be honest, the Uatu card kind of sucks. For an all supreme being like him, the card's like very underwhelming. I mean, it's kind of cool, but nobody uses it, and I don't know. I think we could stand to see a better Uatu. But there are cards that came from What If, Kahori also. But I'm sure they could make more, maybe variants. A Wakanda season, well, you'd be interested to know that Ryan Coogler, I was going to save this for the MCU minute, but just announced yesterday that they are working, or he will be, working on Black Panther 3. So there you go. So we will more than likely get a new actor who will play Black Panther, probably out of Secret War. And so we're at least getting another Black Panther film if you're a fan of that. So I would imagine that would be the time that they would maybe want to do that. All right. My next question that I posted was, since Conquest isn't really cutting it, and Infinite Ladder is really all we've got, that's not a limited mode, what do you want to see come to Marvel Snap that can actually entice players to move away from Ladder? So here's some answers I got for this. Snaptron said, Ladder wouldn't be unbearable if they just tuned the bots down some and brought back the dumb bots for some relief. Surely there are dials for the bots, right? Rotating Grand Arena style game mode would be awesome. Allows play with some cards not everyone has, plus lower stakes. Yeah, I like Grand Arena. Skitty says either ranked cards after Infinite or ranked rewards after Infinite, better Conquest updates, Grand Arena full-time with deck rotation. But they've said they have no plans for a new mode besides limited time modes, which is concerning, to be honest. I'm telling you, I still think we're getting a draft. I really do. Might be wrong. Could be wrong. Probably wrong, but I still think it's coming. Jermaine against answer here says, wouldn't be so boring if they had add gold, variants, borders, emotes to Ladder. Up that 500 gold to 700 instead. Yeah, maybe that's another thing they could do. is past 100 is like put more rewards in there to keep gaining levels. Yeah, it's a good idea. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Wilson34 says draft mode with ban of all location that adds a lot of RNG to the game. Ego, Triskelion, Weird World, X-Mansion, Camp Lehigh, Black Vortex, Celestial Ground, Daily Bugle, Kvich, KVCH, Tarnax, the Hub, the Peak, White Palace. This way we could just concentrate with deck versus deck skill. Yeah, that'd be something, right? Make a game mode where you have generic locations. And you're just playing on 3 different locations. That'd be different. Adam Chinasami says, I'd like a best of 3 mode, sort of like fighting games, and the ability to switch decks in between matches. Oh, you switch decks with your opponent? Wow, that's kind of cool. Scott says draft. I think it's coming. Alessandro says draft mode or mode with 3 decks and 1 ban. Okay. I love it. All right. Well, there you go. Let me see if I got any responses over in the BluSky stuff. I think I may have. This is the one for which seasons would you like to see? It's from Voltron Pilot. How about a season of Cosmic Marvel? I'd like to see Quasar and his quantum bands. And Eon could be a character or a location like Ego. Captain Marvel and the Nega bands. I'd love to see Captain Marvel. I read his comics. I always liked him better than Captain Marvel. I loved Marvel. And the Nega band swapping with Rick Jones in a Jubilee Blink style of play. Kree Sentry, Starhawk, Vance Astro, Charlie 27, and so much more. Yeah, that would be an amazing season. PDX Snap says, I would enjoy seeing Arishem the card be retired or banned from regular Snap and instead be folded into its own mode. They kind of did it with that one offshoot High Voltage. Do something like that because the Arishem effect is fun to play with, but it shouldn't face normal decks. That's a great point. I'm not a fan of playing against it. And a lot of people are playing Arishem this month. A lot. A lot of people are playing Arishem. I've run into a lot of it. More so in recent times. He kind of went away when they made it so that you're not going to get the same cards twice. But it's come back. And it's come back with that big Monty type deck. So I could get behind that. Also says, I also think Conquest could be made a lot better if they had a rotating ban list. Start with Hela and Mr. Negative. The list could be updated with each new season. Ooh, I like that idea. Because you see so much of the same stuff. It's Mr. Negative. It's Destroy. It's Hela. It's so many of the same decks in Conquest. Yeah, that'd be cool. Make a rotating monthly ban list for it. That would spice it up. Yeah, that's a great plan. That's a great idea. Love that. Simo says, I'm super old school. Yeah, I hear you, bud. And think Wonder Man is far overdue for a card. 1/1 end of turn, steal 1 power from a card on both sides. Classic Avenger season would be Ace with me, Swordsman, Grim Reaper, Tigra, Korvac, Moondragon, Space Phantom, and the Executioner. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Also quite like the original Thunderbolts. Hey, yeah, I love all the old stuff too. Wonder Man, I think, will get a card sooner than later because obviously we have his series coming. So I do believe he'll get a card sooner or later. Sideshow Bot, this is in response to the game modes. A ladder rework would do the job for me. The limited time game mode can be a bit frustrating, but the base should not. I would remove the level down option. Just one direction on ladder is up and set the infinite level to 200. Guess that is what they want. People shall play more. Not away, but back to ladder. Okay, yeah, I would dig that. Instead of falling back down, you set yourself where you are, and you could climb all the way up to 200. Probably make a lot of the infinite players happy. I mean, a lot of them are probably getting bored too. Shin Chaos says, I'd love high voltage to stick around, to be honest. I feel like it's really fun to mess with underused decks, and I really like RSM decks within the game mode. I never engage with the game more than during high voltage. Okay. All right. And I think that is it. So, guys, awesome job. Thank you so much for all the responses. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna throw this out there to you because this is really this is something where I interact with you guys. So this is another idea that I had. I'm gonna let you guys be in charge of of this section of the pod. So my request line is going to be controlled by one of you. So starting next week, I'm going to put it out there that I'm going to give you the idea, for something for a poll type question about Marvel Snap. So if you're listening right now, I'm going to post it a little later tonight. And you give me your ideas for the request line. And I will draw one or two of your ideas that we can ask everybody else. And then I'll put the polls out. And then obviously the person who came up with the idea will get all the credit. I will obviously tell everybody who came up with the ideas, but a lot of the best ideas come from you guys. I mean, the ideas you guys have about the game are pretty awesome. So I'm gonna let my request line, because that's really what it is. DJ request line is you're playing requests for the listener. So I'm gonna let this up to you. Going forward, I'm gonna have you guys tell me a couple of topics, and if you're listening to this part now, reach out. And like I said, reach out over here on the X, DM me or whatever the case might be, and let me know what some of your topic picks are. Don't be shy. I'm always on Twitter, I hang out on my Discord sometimes, and so yeah. But this should really be about you. All right, that said, we're going to go over to Snap Talk, and I said that weird, didn't I? It's almost like Saturday Night, like Coffee Talk. I said talk. It's late, I'm getting silly. Did you ever see the Coffee Talk thing on Saturday Night Live with Mike Myers? Coffee Talk. But yeah, we're going to talk about what I'm playing, the variants and decks and all that good stuff, and then we'll roll over to Comics Corner. So let's get to the Snap Talk. And you know what? I can bring out my brand new iPad. Oh my God, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Who sings that one? Who sings that one for an early lyric challenge? It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Tell me who sings that for a no prize. All right. Here we go. We're going to open up Snap, and it's not going to crash. I now have a 10th gen iPad instead of the lousy one that I had, which was, I think, a 7th gen or an 8th gen, and it crashed all the damn time. I know this because I was actually playing the game on it, and it did not crash, which is amazing. All right. We're going to go and look at some stuff. Yeah, let's take a look at, well, first of all, don't have much progress to report on Ladder because I really stopped playing because I got so fed up with it. I'm at 84. I guess not horrible. I bounced myself back up to 84 playing a Sauron deck. But it's a grind. So I thought to myself, well, you know what? Why don't you just wait until people start playing some kind of new mode or something like that, and maybe that'll take people away from it a little bit, and I can maybe get myself back up to 90. But in any case, let us look, shall we, at some decks. This one was from Regis Kilbin, and I watched him play, and it looked fun. This is a Nightmare deck that he made. And it has been kind of fun. It's kind of a hybrid of the Lockdown deck with War Machine in it, but Nightmare's in it too. So he has Martyr, Ebony Maw. I don't like Martyr in here though. Martyr always ends up seeming to hurt me at the end of the game, which is what she does. But I can't really overcome it. It's a great card if you Nightmare early, but if you don't and you play Martyr down, you could be in some trouble. So I think I would replace it. But he has Ebony Maw, he has Rhino, he has Lizard, Maximus, Nightmare, Debris. So basically just a lot of the bigger cards that have drawbacks. Gladiator, War Machine, Crossbones, Giganto, and Infinite. So it's kind of fun. I played it a little bit in Conquest, and it won me some games. I have been playing a little bit of Hela in Conquest as well. I played Conquest because I wanted to get that Fire Lizard variant, which is badass, by the way. Amazing Lizard variant that they have in there. This is obviously the good old Redshift Agatha list. It also has a Lockjaw, Redshift, Gambit, Corvus Glaive, Jubilee, Ghost Rider, Legion, Blink, Hela, Agatha, Harkness, Scar, and Death. So, not really too much different there, except maybe the Lockjaw. This is another Regis Kilbin deck. This is a Gore Iron Man list, which I think he got this from seeing other people playing it on Infinite Ladder. But this is a pretty good deck. It's kind of like a Mr. Negative deck, but without Mr. Negative. It's Surge, Ravonna, Kate Bishop, Sage, Mystique, Magic, Esme Cuckoo is in here, Shadow King, Moonstone, Anti-Venom, Iron Man, and Gore. So this is pretty good. You can really get that Gore up high. You could copy the Gore with a Mystique, or you could throw Iron Man out there that may have gotten the Esme Cuckoo bonus. This is a pretty good list. Whoever came up with this. You could easily set Iron Man's power to 4, which automatically gives you a pretty big lane there. The Sage could get really big. Moonstone obviously is going to make Iron Man huge. But this is a good list. I won a good amount of games with it. Chameleon Surfer. Now, I don't play Surfer. I suck at it. But this is America Chavez, Surge, Herbie, Brood, Captain Carter, Silver Surfer, Chameleon, Spider-Punk, Sebastian Shaw, Luna Snow, Gwenpool, and Sarah. I was running this double Galactus deck. Now it's become a deck with Sandman in it, and it just isn't good. Just not good. The Sauron list with Ezekiel Sims I've been playing a lot. Zabu, Sauron, Zero, Ezekiel Sims, Surtur, Starbrand, Ares, Cull Obsidian, Typhoid Mary, Enchantress, Red Skull, and Scar. The Man Spider thing I was playing. This is a Man Spider, though, with a Sauron list. Sauron, Zero, Iron Patriot, Lizard, Shadow King, Luna, Starbrand, Ares, Typhoid Mary, Man Spider, Red Skull, and Scar. And then the Horde deck. This is Hunger, Kitty Pryde, Surge, Zombie Mr. Fantastic, Kate Bishop, Mysterio, Elsa Bloodstone, Zombie Scarlet Witch, Zombie Sentry, which they have a new variant out today, which I was able to pick up both of them because it is a 700 gold variant. So, Zombie Giant Man, Mockingbird, and Sasquatch. So some different cards in here than you were seeing in the main Horde deck. So that's generally what I've been playing. And then as far as variants go, not a huge week. I did get the Deadpool that I told you guys you could go use the code. Zombie Sentry I got today along with the Hunger because they were both 700 gold variants. I just got those from caches. The Lizard Paolo Parente, who has done Magic the Gathering stuff, just an amazing drawn lizard. Really cool artwork. I got Ezekiel Sims, the Brett Bean, where he's playing the guitar. So I got that one. The Deadpool, I got the Spider-Man collage variant. That's, of course, at the end of the collection track for the season. I got the John Lamb Nimrod, which is pretty cool. I got this. I think I put this on my Twitter. I had to get this. I saw it once before, and I had to get it. Luna Snow's Artgerm variant Ultimate. Oh my God. Artgerm just does amazing artwork. And this is just gorgeous. What an amazing variant. I first of all, she looks amazing, but the heart that she holds, the heart that she creates, the ice heart, does not appear until you split the card 3 times. And then the heart comes out. That is amazing. That's so cool. This card is amazing. I had to get it. It is so cool. That I will never change my version of Luna Snow. That is my permanent version of Luna Snow. I got the Dan Hip Symbiote Spider-Man, the Creative House Pocket Hulkling, and how about this one? Everybody's probably had this since like the beginning of the game. I finally got it. The Taco Hulk. This is from the MCU when he was eating the tacos. And I finally got this one. I've been looking for this one for a long time, and I finally was able to get it. And I got it in a pack. So that was pretty cool. Art Tree Studio variant of Dazzler. And I also finally got this one, the What If variant of Goliath. I don't have many. The Spotlight, I picked it up because I only had one variant of Goliath, and that was the Chibi. So I figured I'd get this one because this is right out of What If when he was on top of the car. The Art Tree Studio variant of White Widow. The Art Tree Studio variant of Ghost Spider. And then the Creative House Pocket variant of Galactus First Steps. OMG. I split him. He came into I got an ink split on him. But I also got the Rainbow Crackle, which was honestly my first card that I've gotten that split with the rainbow in, I can't even tell you how long. And it's very fitting that it was a Galactus. Very fitting. I think that's all. Yeah. So they were the variants I got. Let's look at the shop quickly. There's an exclusive offer for the Hunger. So another Hunger variant. Wow, they're really making a lot of variants of that. Another exclusive offer of Spider-Man NOIR. I'm going to so forget that. It's pretty cool. It's a black and white card, which, you kind of expect from him. Very cool and different looking angle. Clone with a Cause, Scarlet Spider, 4,500 gold variant, or gold bundle. The Noir one is 20. So is the Hunger. Penny Parker, Peachy Penny. And then in my shop today, I had the Tarot variant of Goliath. I don't like those. And I'm not saying it's against any Moon Colony or anything against them. I just don't like the looks of them. They look weird. So that is that. That is the Snap Talk for the week. Where I am. Where I was mostly in Conquest trying to get the lizard. So, all right, guys. We are going to head on over to Comics Corner, and we are going to talk about Spider-Man NOIR. So let us see what we can find out. I had to blow a hair off my iPad. Spider-Man NOIR. Now, he's been in comics. The trailer for the Marvel series. Empowered by a supernatural spider bite, the hard-boiled Spider-Man NOIR fights corrupt politicians, crooked cops, and big businesses in his home of New York City, 1933. His gender, of course, is male. He's from Earth 90214. His other alias is the Spider-Man. Place of origin, New York City, New York. His identity is secret. Known relatives, May Parker is his aunt, Ben Parker is his uncle. Superpowers are superhuman strength, superhuman reflexes, superhuman agility, superhuman speed, organic webbing projection. Outraged at the injustices of the Depression, Peter B. Parker's anger is matched only by his impassioned goal to prove his Uncle Ben was murdered by the Goblin and his goons. Goons were around in the 30s, you know. Driven by the idealism and values his Aunt May and Uncle Ben instilled in him, Peter believes that if those in power can't be trusted, then it's the responsibility of the people to remove them. When he's bitten by a poisonous exotic spider, Peter gains mystifying new abilities to take down the corrupt, and he's reborn as the Spider-Man. On Earth 90214, in the heart of New York City during the 30s, Peter B. Parker loses his Uncle Ben to the Goblin and his carny cronies. He then dedicates his time helping others at the houseless shelter that his Aunt May runs. While attending a rally where his Aunt May speaks out against the corrupt system that runs their city, Peter's passion for justice catches the eye of Ben Urich, photographer at the Daily Bugle. When goblins enforcers attack May and Peter, Ben defends the pair and ultimately takes Peter under his wing at the Bugle. Peter confides in Ben about finding his Uncle Ben killed and torn apart with rope marks on his body. He blames the goblins' cronies and seeks to bring them to justice. When Peter discovers Ben is a heroin addict, drugged and unable to answer his phone, he gets a tip meant for the spider that leads him to goblins' goons at the Rooney Imports warehouse on the pier. It's here that they're picking up a shipment of antiques previously headed to the Metropolitan Museum, and in dropping one of the containers, a bunch of spiders are let loose. One of them bites Peter and tells him a bite brings death to those of evil intent, but will bestow the curse of power on him instead. Peter receives arachnid-like abilities from the bite and becomes the Spider-Man. After being bitten by a spider-like god, Peter possesses enhanced strength, speed, reflexes, agility, and durability. He could shoot liquid silk out of his wrists to maneuver in between buildings and rooftops, and create webs and nets from it as well. He can also crawl up walls with little effort. He also has a spider sense which alerts him to dangers unseen. He wears a mask with goggles to hide his identity and dons a durable Kevlar uniform that can withstand bullets and explosions. Occasionally uses a revolver and a Tommy gun to injure or take down criminal elements. Crooked cops and corrupt politicians. New York's top racketeer, Norman Osborn, nicknamed the Goblin, is a freelance agent that works for the highest bidder. He operates openly out of the Osborn Enterprises located in a penthouse suite in downtown Manhattan. The Goblin's muscle includes the Enforcers, Craven, Chameleon, Vulture, Ox, Fancy Dan, and Montana. There's a group that we haven't seen in Snap, the Enforcers, who are all former carnies. New York City's government, members of the police, and leading businessmen are all corrupt, making deals with the likes of the Goblin to control their fair city. Some head honchos include Jimmy Strider, the mayor of New York, who also cheats on his wife. Detective Rian from the Vice Squad has dealings with Emilio Alcuno, who runs half the brothers in the city, and Adolphus Crane, an industrialist that runs sweatshops. The Inheritors are a totemic race that eat animals and spider people. Their existence and hunger threatens the entire multiverse of spider totems, including the Spider-Man who joins the spider army against him, though his battle comes to an end against the Inheritor Morlun. May Parker, Peter's aunt, is a rabble-rouser herself, and together they run the Bowery Welfare Center, where they give the houseless a hot meal and a shelter from the cold. Ben Urich, the star photographer for the Daily Bugle, has a network of informants that call him the Spider. He gets Peter an entry-level job at the Bugle, where Peter shadows his work. There, Peter meets editor-in-chief J. Jonah Jameson. Jonah becomes Peter's boss and sounds the clarion call for liberty and equality in newsstands across the city. Felicia Hardy is the owner of the Black Cat, a decadent speakeasy where corrupt politicians and police officers mingle. She helps Peter uncover the truth about Ben and Goblin's crooked operations, and they share a romantic dalliance. When all the Spider heroes in the multiverse find themselves hunted by the vampiric inheritors, the Spider-Man joins both the Superior Spider Army and the Spider Army led by Billy Braddock, a.k.a. Spider UK. Once defeated, he stays with some dimension-hopping spiders as the Web Warriors, whose tasks are to ensure the inheritors remain on their jail planet and monitor threats to a variety of worlds from the web of life and destiny. After becoming the Spider-Man, he used his newfound abilities to threaten the Goblin, and in so doing, discovered Ben taking payment from the Crook. In confronting Ben, calling him a drunk and junkie, bought by the Goblin like a dog, he unwittingly revealed his alter ego to him. Ashamed of his affiliation with the Goblin, Ben contacted Jonah to give incriminating evidence against the Goblin, though his efforts are cut short when Jonah arrived at his door and murdered him with a revolver. Peter later received the evidence, files from Ben's former flame, Felicia Hardy, who also warned him against trusting Jonah. At Ben's funeral, Peter's spidey sense confirmed that something was up with Jonah, so he confronted him in his Bugle office as the masked Spider-Man, but found him shot at his desk. Though when the police arrived, all they saw was a masked vigilante crouching over Jonah's body, gun in hand. Accused of killing him, the Spider-Man escaped, poring over Urich's files to learn more about Goblin's goons. Discovered that there was one carny missing from the bunch. He had come to know, and found out that Jonah's body in the morgue wasn't Jonah at all. It was the half-brother of Kraven, Dmitry Smerdyakov, a.k.a. the Chameleon, who would mold his features to imitate any object. Meanwhile, the real J. Jonah Jameson was being held captive by the Goblin. Peter returned home to find the Vulture attacking his Aunt May, and came to her defense dressed as Spider-Man. With a revolver, he shot the Vulture dead. May scolded him for killing the Vulture and not using his other abilities, so he left justifying what he did, yet ashamed. Her words stuck with him, and when he caught up with the Goblin, he refused to kill him. Instead, Kraven, who had been previously enveloped by poisonous spiders, finished the job. Goblin and his cronies were brought to justice thanks to the late Urich, the public hero, and the Spider-Man's uncover heroics. Jonah resumed his work at the Bugle, while Aunt May returned to her soapbox. The Spider-Man paid a visit to the mourning Felicia, who, when questioned about her relationship with the Goblin, revealed that he was also a former flame. Peter revealed his identity to her and handed her a photo of her and Ben Ulrich. A few months after the Goblin's death, the Spider-Man's relationship with Felicia grew as organized crime cut through the streets of NYC, and the American Nazi Party started to gain traction, promising a vision of a safer world. The Spider-Man found himself facing off with the Crime Master, a masked criminal who secured Goblin's mantle as crime boss. This is very, 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 very much longer. And I'm not going to go through it all, but there you go. You got a little bit of a backstory for Spider-Man NOIR. And now we are going to go to the app, and we are going to look him up in here, and then we're going to see what I've been reading. So let's look him up. Spider-Man. This, of course, is the Marvel Unlimited app, $9.99 a month. And there he is. Raised by his Aunt May and Uncle Ben, Peter grew up as an idealistic rabble-rouser on Earth 90214. Outraged at injustice and bitten by a spider-like god, he became the superhuman Spider-Man NOIR, taking power away from those who abuse it. And you can see he's got a series from 2020, just called Spider-Man NOIR, 5 issues. A lot in the comics data. A series from 2008 to 2009, which was 4 issues. Another one from 2009 to 2010, which was 4. called Eyes Without a Face. Oh my God, I might have to read that. Eyes without a face, got no human race. Your eyes without a face. Who sang that one? Spider-Man 2099 meets Spider-Man 1. Iron Man Noir. I think... Yeah, he's been in a bunch. Wolverine Noir, Weapon X Noir. Yeah, there's a lot. So if you want to read about, and you want to read a lot of the other noir books, if you're interested in that that universe and that theme, they are all in the Unlimited app. So go get them. Unless you have a comic book store near you, then go visit that first. Go visit that first. Because it's always cool to go into a comic shop and buy those comics and have them in your hands. Always, always, always cool. So go do that. All right. Tell you what I'm reading. Or what I've read. I finished up. Well, no, let's go. So what I've got to read, the next issue of One World Under Doom. I'm like 3/4 of the way through. That's issue 6. Machine Man issue number 2. Magic issue number 5. Daredevil Cold Day in Hell issue number 3. I have not started that yet. Thing issue number 2. Fantastic Four 0. Captain America Sam Wilson number 5. I did not start yet. Marvel TV Galactus. The Real Story. How the hell did I not read this? I think I said it was here. Man-Thing's in it? Dude. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to read this right after I'm done here. How the hell did I not see this one? I think I did see it, but I didn't, for whatever reason, read it. I mean, come on. What am I doing? What the heck am I doing? All right, let me go back. So I definitely going to read that one. Man-Thing's in it. I mean, come on. Let me go to the new this week. We got Marvel Rivals Infinity Comic is up to issue number 29. Wow. A lot of reprinted Ghost Riders in this week's. Marvel Rivals Unleashed, that's up to issue number 5. The Fantastic Four, up to issue number 2. Of course, it just restarted. Ultimates is up to issue 15, 2024. Daredevil, I did read. That's issue number 24. Very good. Eddie Brock Carnage. Is that Muse that's in that? It is. Muse is in that. Oh, I love Muse. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, issue number 36. X-Men 2024, issue number 20. Star Wars Jedi Knights, I did read that. There's a story about Mace Windu and younger Obi-Wan. Bring on the Bad Guys, Red Skull. Oh, gotta read that. X-Men Age of Revelation, Infinity Comic. That's exclusive to the app. Uncle Scrooge, Earth's Mightiest Duck. Spider-Man and Wolverine. That's a Spider-Man in a black costume. That's new. Artwork looks cool. Who does the art? Look at this cover. That's pretty cool. It's very McFarlane-ish. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion is issue number 3. The New Champions, issue number 8. The Predator Predator Kills the Marvel Universe, issue number 1. Giant Size X-Men number 2. Laura Kinney, Wolverine, number 9, and Marvel Meow, number 32. So there you go, guys. That is what I'm reading, and that is, and you should be reading too. Not necessarily what I said, but you should all pick up a comic. You really should. It's so much fun, and I try to read 3 to 5 of them a week, and it's just a lot of fun, especially if you're you're obviously listening to this pod. So if you're listening to this pod and you're playing Marvel Snap, why not learn about some of the characters and where they came from and things like that. So it's just very, very cool. And comics are very easy read. You're gonna finish them up in just 5-10 minutes or so, probably, for the most part. But go read some comics. I'm telling you, you will not be sorry. So go ahead and do that. All right. We are going to head over to the MCU Minute. Now, I told you, I'm going to warn you when there might be possible spoilers. Well, there may be some here, because we're inching closer and closer and closer to the release of Avatar: Fire and Ash. And it's been pretty public now that the trailer for the Doomsday movie is going to be out attached to that trailer. So while there have been some releases saying that they're leaked pics, those I don't believe at all. Especially with AI now, you can fake so many things and make them look really, really good. I just don't trust any of that, I don't buy any of that. But they do have a description of the trailer. Now, again, if you don't want to know anything, you can stop the pod, fast forward it some, and then you could come back for the lyric part at the end. But so I'm going to read this. So listen at your own risk. I'll give you a count of 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Last chance. The teaser opens up with a voiceover by Victor Von Doom, a.k.a. Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr. Doom speaks about his life of trials and suffering. Victor Von Doom is seen in a cemetery in the rain. I love to imagine what these are going to look like. His face hidden until the shot is cut by fire, leaving only the silhouette of his suit. Screen shifts with a powerful blast, and Loki's Tom Hiddleston voice cuts out. Thor appears on a vast coastline. Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, and Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal gaze at the sky in fear. And Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, runs through a dark room as two universes collide due to the incursions. Cities are also seen being destroyed on two planets simultaneously. Doom says he will escape the eternal trap where he was imprisoned. Multiple battles featuring Doom himself are shown, followed by another voiceover from him. A mask falls away, revealing that Doom's face is badly disfigured with a large scar and a burnt mud-like texture. The teaser ends with Steve Rogers, Chris Evans, and Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell, emerging from a TVA-style portal and looking directly at the camera. Just some interesting points here. This would go along the lines with with some of the other rumors that were abounding, saying that Robert Downey's Doom is upset, angry, injured, over the fact that, first of all, by the incursions, but also because of the fact that he lost his family. And supposedly his family on his world was Invisible Woman and Franklin Richards, who's married to Invisible Woman. And, of course, they had a child. So this apparently is what is going to set him off. Now, the whole thing with Captain America and with Steve and Peggy could be attributed to something that was in the comics where the worlds are colliding. The two Earths are colliding. And these heroes are being, they're coming in from these other universes. This is what I'd expect to see. Now, I don't know if this is real. I would, if I had to guess, I would say maybe parts of it are, but I also think that there might be some stuff that's probably filled in here. But I like, if that's where they're going with the story, I like it, because Doom was always kind of a tragic figure. Not necessarily somebody that you didn't want to hate, but, and let me just look through this again. The teaser begins with Dr. Doom's voiceover. Doom speaks about his life of trials and suffering, so obviously he's suffering from loss. Appears in the cemetery. Transforms into an explosion, and Loki's voice fades out. Thor appears on a coast. Sam and Reed look at the sky with fear. And Doctor Strange runs through a dark room as two universes collide. Cities are seen being destroyed simultaneously on both planets. That comes right from the Hickman comics. So I wouldn't doubt it may happen. Doom said he will release the Eternal Trap in which he was imprisoned. Several battles led by Doom himself are shown, followed by another narration after a mask falls. After the mask falls off of him, it's revealed that his face is severely disfigured with a large scar and texture similar to burnt clay. I don't know. Do I believe it? Like I said, I think in a lot of cases like this, where there's smoke, there could be fire. But that said, I'm not saying that it is... I'm not saying that it's not true, but I'm also not going to say that it is true. Because I don't think the whole thing is. I think that there's probably bits and pieces that could be, but I kind of don't want to say that I think it. Now listen, it could be. It could be that this somehow leaked, and it could have been gotten out there, but I don't know. And again, like the leaked images, like I said, I don't believe those at all. I really don't believe those at all. Now, if I look at the top stories, Doom ends as Marvel's new Sorcerer Supreme leaks online ahead of Avengers 5. Gearing up for a major shift, and a recent leak in another Prime Marvel space is exciting fans. Following a period of mixed critical and financial results, Phase 6 launched Fantastic Four, which opened strongly before experiencing a steep drop. Still, Disney's CEO Bob Iger made it clear that Marvel's first family... Hold on. Would be the central to the future of the franchise. Before the arrival of the first Phase 6 movie with Kang's arc derailed, Marvel refocused long-term storytelling directly to Doctor Doom. Franchise will bring Downey Jr. back as Victor Von Doom. Post-credits cameo laid the groundwork. The cast... Robert Downey Jr. plays Dr. Doom, Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Kelsey Grammer as Beast, Florence Pugh as Yelena, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, James Marsden as Cyclops, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Danny Ramirez as Falcon, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Woman, Louis Pullman as Sentry, Rebecca Romaine as Mystique, Patrick Stewart as Professor X and Alex Cumming as Nightcrawler. David Harbour as Red Guardian. Letitia Wright as Shuri. Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent. Joseph Quinn as Human Torch. Tenoch Huerta Mejia as Namor. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. And Eben Moss Bacharach as Thing. Well, that didn't tell us very much. Marvel Studios will make MCU trailer history with Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday has a chance to do what no MCU trailer has done to this point. They might make history with the release of its latest trailer for Doomsday. Rumors have been swirling about it potentially imminent debut trailer, coming alongside of James Cameron's Avatar as Fire and Ash. It does not release till next December, but Marvel may want to start marketing this particular superpowered blockbuster early. Should Doomsday actually drop its first look before the end of the year, it has a chance to break new ground for the long-running franchise, being the first ever MCU film to leapfrog another in terms of releasing its debut teaser trailer. Spider-Man Brand New Day, set to hit in theaters on July 31st, months before Avengers, has yet to release its debut trailer and is not expected to do so before the end of 2025. This will be the first time Marvel Studios has hit this particular marketing beat for a movie that is not its most imminent one. Spider-Man will have a presence at CCXP convention in Brazil, which runs from Thursday, December 4th to Sunday, December 7th, so there is a chance a trailer may see the light of day before Doomsday can beat it off the blocks. Doomsday enters theaters December 18th of 2026. Marvel just killed off its top villain before the MCU could even touch him. This is from Screen Rant. Doctor Doom is dead. Marvel has made the shocking decision to kill off its top villain in the lead up to his MCU debut. Whether he will be back before his big screen counterpart arrives in Avengers Doomsday remains to be determined. For now, the big question is how the Marvel Universe will deal with the fallout from his demise. This is from One World Under Doom. Damn it, I just spoiled it for myself because I didn't read that issue. Well, I guess it serves me right. All right, well, there you go. That is the MCU Minute for the week and all the MCU news. So if you have skipped over and if you're coming back, we are now going to get to my brand new lyric challenge. And again, this idea I got from a listener of the pod. And it's kind of telling, it's kind of a cool thing. And what I'm going to be doing is picking a song that is either related to or have maybe been in a Marvel film or maybe a cartoon or maybe a comic and or a song that could have been written about one of the Marvel characters along the way. Or it might be just something that will remind you of one of the Marvel characters. So it might make it a little more difficult. But this first one that I'm going to be doing is an older song, circa 1970s. But this one was actually used in a Marvel film. All right, so that's the clue you're getting. Now, that could be anything because, James Gunn uses a lot of songs and stuff like that. That's why I said this will be kind of cool because I got a lot to choose from here. I mean, I could even reach for some of the old 90s Marvel stuff. I mean, we all remember good old Nickelback in the Spider-Man movie. They say that a hero can save us, not going to stand in his way. Anyway, all right, here we go. And now I think if I do the first part of the lyrics here, it's going to be too easy. So I'm going to skip down a bit. How soft your field so green can whisper tales of gore, of how we calm the tides of war. We are your overlords. On we sweep with threshing ore. Our only goal will be the western shore. So now you'd better stop and rebuild all your ruins. For peace and trust can win the day, despite of all your losing. There you go. There is the first of the brand new lyric challenge, which of course will be Marvel and possibly DC. It's going to be comic book related going forward. So could be in a soundtrack. It could be from, listen, they did a Marvel Peter Parker album back in the day. I wish I had it because the thing's probably worth money now. But it was Peter Parker standing in front of a mirror. So I can get some stuff. I could pull a lot of stuff between soundtracks, TV show soundtracks. I can find a lot of stuff that's just related to superheroes, stuff that bands did or recorded about superheroes. There's just a lot. There's just a lot. So this is going to be pretty cool. I think it's going to fit more into the theme of the show. I'm really excited to do it. So thank you to those who reached out and who had said to keep this up. But I do want to make it a little more related to the actual stuff that I do in the pod. All right, guys, look, I am at the 2-hour mark. I get it. It was longer again, but we had a lot of news that came out in the last few days. So in any case, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you listening wherever you may be doing so. Whether it's on Spotify or whether it's on Apple Podcasts. Please rate the show if you so choose. If you listen to it every week, just throw a rating in there. I'd appreciate that. Reach out to me. Again, like I said, with the request line ideas, because I'm going to take them from you going forward, because that's your segment. You are answering polls and stuff like that. But you can also come in and chime in with an actual topic if that's something that you want to discuss. Because I could always do like one from a listener, and then I could always do one from a poll, which I think would be cool. So just send me those ideas in the comments or over on my YouTube page. That will get some more love, I promise. I know I've said it over and over again, but it's been a crazy last few weeks. But I do have Burb coming up, and I do have Kier Nimbus coming up. I promise you. So thank you all, wherever you may be listening. I appreciate all of you. And I hope that you have a great week in Marvel Snap, however you choose to play. We're almost coming to the end of this November season. I think we only have... Who's left yet, huh? We only have Prowler. And then a couple of these other cards that we're going to get in game modes and things. And then we're on to Weapon X in December. So, yeah, man, it's going quick. It's going fast. So, I am going to my convention this weekend to meet Jillian Anderson. Oh, my God. I know I talked about this on here, but it is coming up now. I'm going to be going in a few days. So I will tell you all about it. Now, I know I read about the photo ops. I've never had a photo op with somebody. So if you guys have ever experienced that, please let me know. But I've read that you don't even really get even a chance to say anything, because they literally come in, they take like a picture in like seconds and you're out of there. So I thought that I might just have to go in her autograph line, because if that's the case, and I'm not even going to even have 2 seconds to say hello to her, I might just go in the autograph line, wait in that line, and then this way, if she signs an autograph, it'll be a little more personal, because they'll usually ask what you want them to sign and stuff like that. So I think I'd have a little bit more time to actually speak to her. So, but I am super excited about that. I will let you guys know how that goes on the next episode. So have a great weekend, Snap. Like I said, however you choose to play, just enjoy it. Try to enjoy it as best you can. Let me know if you're gonna be one of those people that are gonna start over. I would really love to hear from you, and if you do, let me know how it goes. Like I said, I tried it once. But it wasn't really much different, but I think it might be now, so I may try it again at some point to make a different account. But yeah, let me know. All right, that is going to do it for me for this particular week. Have a great week in Snap. Please stay safe, be kind to one another always, and hopefully I will talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ signing off.